Hey YouTube, it's Dan updating on that EGR cooler job I'm doing on the CXU 2015. We're just pretty much wrapped on it. I'm waiting for the air filter sensor that broke. I had to steal it off of this truck for another truck. That should be here today. And as you can see, we got it all cleaned up and painted. Took all the piping off, intake manifold, as you saw in the other videos. Couple things I want to point out, maybe help some guys out. I replaced the engine harness on this because I had some issues with a random misfire. I found all the injector plugs were full of oil under the valve cover there. The Delta P here on the top of the intake, the plug would not go in. I'll show you what I did with that on the old harness. We did do the coolant pipes that run around the back of the engine to the air compressor. They weren't as horrible as I thought they were going to be. So let's go over to the passenger side. See where we spent all the big money. EGR cooler, turbo, EGR valve. The bolts did break. I did have to get a new manifold, which kind of sucked, but I would have been drilling for days. The coolant pipes I did replace. I could not get that big connection apart. And over here we have the harness. Here's my injector plugs. They were all filled with oil. I actually had to brake clean every injector. Poured out. Here's the Delta P plug that I was talking about. Let's see if I can set the light up here. This is the original one. The new harness comes with these, one of these big tabs here are on this side. It's like right here where the screwdriver is. You cannot slide this in. You can only slide it on about 1/4 of an inch and it stops. So what I did was I just took a pick and just broke it off. You just go in like that, snap it off. It'll be on this side, on both top and bottom, and it'll go right in and lock into position. Worked out perfect. Then I had an issue where the truck was cranking for over 30 seconds before it would start. And I was missing my timing reference sensor signal. So here's the original harness. This would be the timing reference signal sensor that goes in top of bell housing. This one is EGR valve, and this one is cam sensor. You can't miss up the cam sensor because it's too long on the new harness. But in the new harness, the aftermarket harness, these two plugs are pretty much the same length. One's for the EGR valve and one's for the time reference sensor. I ended up plugging them in backwards, but I did get a code for an EGR valve. So it kind of led me to believe that I plugged them in wrong, swapped them over, and fixed the problem. But yeah, just be aware that all three of these plugs on the end are exactly the same. And yeah, that wasn't too bad to do. And that's where we're at with the engine job. So on to the next one. Like and subscribe, and I'll keep them coming, guys. Thanks.